Yep, and welcome back for round 3. Ooh, that paired quickly. So we're now 2-0. We bested our opponent on green-black in round 1 and mono-red in round 2. Mono-red Flame of Keld, I should say. There are a few different mono-red versions, Flame of Keld being a notably aggressive one. This hand has no land, so I'll definitely mull that. So I'm on the draw, I get to scry, and I have an opt, and a bunch of interactive cheap cards, so I will actually keep this hand, because there's not much more I really can ask for a hand. Like, if this opt was a land, I definitely would keep, so may as well keep it here. I will shock with Steam Vents here, so that I can opt and then hold Syncopate up on turn 2, because I want to play Dragon's Hoard on turn 3, and if I Syncopate for 1 on turn 2, I really cannot do that. So opt, Niv-Mizzet. Probably good in this matchup if they're playing these colors, but I can't afford to keep it here over a land. Okay, Sulfur Falls. This hand is going to develop very slow if my opponent is on control, which it looks like they are. Unfortunately, I can't Syncopate that. Okay, good for us that I can get Sarkhan down and start discarding these useless shocks. Oh, they're not useless, they're just misunderstood.
Call me mad. Madness. What madness?
Hush. It's weird that this Sarkhan is raving about madness, because in the storyline, I thought, like, Sarkhan has gotten past his madness. I thought he was mad, and now he is, like, regained his sanity. That's what I thought happened. Well, Dragon's Hoard. I'll just shock myself so they can't play Teferi on the next turn. If they play Chemist's Insight, I'll make sure to actually use this. Would be embarrassing not to use that. If they played Chemist's Insight on end step, I would have syncopated it. Otherwise, I really want to stop them from playing Teferi on this turn. Any turn that gets me closer to an ultimate on Sarkhan is good for me. Anything that gets me closer to a Niv-Mizzet is good for me.
Don't make another move.
So that's a great draw. A great draw.
Might demands power.
Yeah, blue. Yeah, blue, red. Play Niv-Mizzet. Yeah, draw a card. Watery Grave. Pay 2 life to shock. Discovery Dispersal. Surveil 2. Draw a card. Niv-Mizzet. Best card in standard. Ping you. And I'm pretty much going to bottom any card that isn't great here. So shock, not great. Mountain, not great. Actually, maybe I do want shock. Oh, my opponent just conceded. Sure. I mean, that works for me. I was about to say, I'll keep shock because if my opponent uses Teferi and tucks the Niv-Mizzet, then I can shock the Teferi to kill it. So, against Esper Control, just doing a quick change of the cards you would expect. Okay, so how many is this? This is 62. So this is 62 cards, so I'd have to cut 2 more from here. I don't think Rekindling Phoenix is actually great in this matchup, so with this is pretty good. I don't have many answers to their creatures, like if they're boarding in Lyra Dawnbringer, for instance, I don't have an answer to that, except for like creature combat. I could Ral Zarek it, that's something I could do. The solution is I could bring in Beacon Bolt, but otherwise Beacon Bolt is not very good, especially if they have no targets for it. I think what I'll do is I will just hedge my bets that Niv-Mizzet, Crackling Drake, Nicol, Bolas, and Dispersal, half of Discovery Dispersal will be enough for me to... and Syncopate, sorry, and Syncopate will be enough for me to power over any creature sideboard plan they have. They could have Thief of Sanity as well. I know that if I was playing Esper Control, I would have Thief of Sanity in my sideboard, just like I have it in my Grixis sideboard here. And that It's not as good against me because I do have flying blockers. Okay, so again, I'll keep this hand. I'm on the draw and I have like tap lands, but I do have an opt and I do have good plays. Now, the big thing in this matchup is actually resolving your spells. And I only have 3 Duresses. Normally, decks like the one I'm playing will have Disdainful Strokes, Negates, like sometimes Expansion Explosion in their sideboard, which would be very useful in a control mirror. So they do have Thief of Sanity in their deck. So I will just opt here. Now, Crackling Drake. Do I want Crackling Drake? I probably do. It's going to be better than a random card, at least. If I had ways to destroy Thief of Sanity, I might go for them. So I'll go with my own Thief of Sanity. The issue is, like I was saying before, my opponent having Thief of Sanity, they probably still have removal spells in their deck. So they could very easily Vraska's Contempt my Thief of Sanity and then attack and get one of my cards. Okay, so they got rid of a land and Discovery Dispersal. Nicol Bolas. Now, if they remove this Nicol Bolas and get another hit with Thief of Sanity, that's probably going to be the end of the game. That's just the power of Thief of Sanity. It got him 1 hit, and I feel like I can't win. Thankfully, my deck doesn't have a lot of removal spells for my own creatures. Yep, that one's dead as well. Now, the only way I can see what cards they have of mine is through clicking this, which is very unclear, but if you see me clicking through here, they have 1 card in exile from Thief of Sanity currently. Yep, so they milled Syncopate and Dragonskull Summit there. So I have Opt and Discovery and Syncopate. So I can actually Ral because they've milled me, which is useful. So Ral. Now I can hopefully try to fight my way back into the game. They could easily Teferi and tuck this, and that would be very awkward for me. They could Teferi and plus, which would be awkward as well. Or they could have nothing, which is also good. Now, Duress is the card I want the most here. So I can... actually, I lied. Niv-Mizzet is also a good card. Is it too obvious that I got Niv-Mizzet if I don't cast it this turn? I feel like I should cast it next turn with the dive down up. So I'll just play a... They'll probably have a counterspell, so I'll just play Thief of Sanity. Because, like, they tapped out a few turns to removal spell my things. Sabotage? Yeah. Thief of Sanity, although I was saying how good it was, if they're just going to kill it, or just going to counter it, I'd rather that Crackling Drake resolve, because it draws a card. Now, what do they have here? Ooh, Dispersal. Ah, I forgot they still had cards from my side. Well, I think I'm going to discard this Crackling Drake. And on my turn, I'll Niv-Mizzet with Dive Down Up. Alternatively, I could Sarkhan into Niv-Mizzet, because Sarkhan makes 2 mana, so that works out. But Niv-Mizzet is just that powerful. Now, my hope is my opponent tries to kill Niv-Mizzet here, and then I can punish that with the dive down. Okay, so they're playing Dispersal again, so I'll draw a card. Okay, well, they just conceded. Okay, sure. Now, I definitely understand my opponent, because when I used to play Control, whenever my opponent went off with a Planeswalk or some combo, I didn't want to play anymore either. yeah, my opponent went all in with the Thief of Sanity plan, but they didn't actually get that good cards from us. Like, if they got a Niv-Mizzet from us, that would have been good. If they got Nicol from us, that would have been, you know, decent. But they got Discovery Dispersals and Syncopate, so... Now I'll quickly pause the video, and I will get into round 4.